Joe Biden says he has no regrets about not running for the highest office in the land. In the wake of his son Beau dying of cancer, it was the right decision for him and his family. Appearing on something called GMA, the Veep agreed that Donald Trump shouldn't be underestimated, but he's confident Hillary Clinton will defeat him. Oh, he also casually dropped this.
It's an awful thing to say. I think I would have been the best president.
Is that an awful thing to say? With all due respect, that type of bluster would not fly in this election.
I can be more presidential than anybody. More presidential than anybody other than the great Abe Lincoln. He was very presidential, right?
Actually, I guess I was wrong about that. This is the season for bluster, isn't it?
Yeah.
But wasn't Abe Lincoln, there was no one more presidential.
Oh, he was super presidential, yeah.
Than
Abe.
Well,
Yeah.
I actually don't think he was.
You don't? Wait a minute.
I mean, I love Abraham Lincoln. I think he was the greatest president, but I don't think in terms of presidential presence you would pick him out.
Didn't they think he was a hayseed?
Yeah, he was a tall, gangly,
Did you see
awkward
Daniel
guy.
Day-Lewis
Yeah.
and Lincoln?
When he gave a
I mean,
speech
how
at
do you
Cooper
get more
Union.
presidential than that?
How'd you get less presidential than that? He was a genius who was in the right place at the right time, but he wasn't George
I love
Washington.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes.
And he was like,
definitely
say, had skin problems and stuff, and when he gave his first speech at Cooper Union, they laughed at him.
Exactly.
They laughed at
But
him.
then he went through a whole transformation where he intentionally, tried to become more presidential.
And then he won the
did a whole
Academy
show.
Award.
It wasn't like he was on TV all the time. I mean, Abe Lincoln was not on television.
But
He
the
was not on
debates
GMA.
were a huge thing, and they were covered by all the papers.
They were covered, but nobody, people didn't hear his voice.
People didn't read back then.
And they didn't tweet.
And so Trump is the man for the age, is he not? I mean,
What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying he is.
You're bananas.
Look,
that's
what
a crazy twist.
Well, no, I'm not saying.
The man for the ages?
I'm saying that he is. It's his moment. He is a master of media, and we live in a media age. Trump.
Yeah, and it remains to be seen. Look, you got to get 65 million people to vote for you on one day in November, and that's to lose. So that's a lot of uphill ahead. We keep talking about how, it's going to tighten up, it's going to tighten up. Stay tuned. It's really, really hard to run and even lose for the presidency, let alone do what he did, which is to get the plurality of the Republican primary voters.
Okay, well, let's do what I want to do and attack Hillary. Can we do that, Brooke?
I can't do that anymore.
You can't.
I'm not allowed to do that on Fox.
Well, look, Hillary Clinton is in
Just
trouble.
blink
Joe
if you
I
Biden.
can just attack whomabity.
Joe Biden couldn't resist saying he knows he would have done well.
Well,
He
that was
should
saying
have run.
it's a slight to Hillary, saying I'm going to be the best president. And I also want to say, he said in that interview something very moving. He said, if you're going to run for the presidency, you have to have your heart and soul in it. And he lost his soul. He lost his son. That's how he put it. But in the spirit of not being immune from criticism, I think if you just look at Kerry's track record, we can get some glimpse at what type of appeasement president he would be. And I mean, he is the biggest pro-Iran lobbyer besides NIAC, the National Radio American Council, in this country. I mean, this is a man who also stood by Assad and tried to rehabilitate the murderous Assad regime. I mean, on every position that he's taken, it's been quite dangerously wrong. Do you remember what he said about FARC? I think it was in 2003. He said they had...
Of course I do.
No, it was outrageous.
Wait, Tom, what's FARC? What's FARC? Let's just
FARC. Come on,
Guys,
running
I'm
around South
learning.
America.
There you go.
It's my lesson.
Kidnapping people, taking hostages, basically said that they have very legitimate complaints. He was the originator of every man's terrorist is a freedom fighter. I mean,
Okay.
that would be a Kerry presidency.
All right, so maybe he wouldn't be.
But Biden would have run and won.
I think he would have too. I think this is conservatives have this view of Biden as a clown, and in some ways he appears to be clownish. But had he been the nominee, I think he'd have done extraordinarily well, because he's one of those old-school politicians who connects with people. He'd have done very...
People want old school right now. They're voting for Bernie.
No, but, well, yeah, exactly. They want old school. They want, the 1930s back, apparently. But he's the kind of guy, we talk a lot about the Rust Belt and all of these states that are now being put in play by Donald Trump, apparently not going to happen. Biden would actually have done very well in them. I think he'd have gone to Pennsylvania. I think he'd have gone to Ohio. People really like the man.
Now, what if Bernie ran, Joanne, and then you had Hillary? She was going to be in there. So what if Bernie and Hillary...
You mean Biden?
Sorry, Biden and Hillary split it, and then Bernie would come in and win it. What do you think of that?
I mean, that could be a possibility. I mean, especially if Democratic voters were lumping Biden in still with the Obama presidency, very much so closely tied to Hillary, and they do want someone who's even farther left. I could see that. But we'll never know. He didn't run.
Yeah.
You know?
Good point.
And
Well, this is all moot.
well, we're reading in the papers now, Brooke, it's like, oh, Hillary, what was the New York Post today, stopped the coronation.
Right.
But she is, I mean, she's minutes away from securing the whole thing, right? Are these people living in a fantasy land, the Bernie bros and gals?
I don't know. I mean, I was at that protest in Washington Square Park. It was a protest. It was actually support for Bernie. And I saw the average age was basically 18. And I think that, you know, Hillary may be a shoo-in now, but look at the country 10, 15 years from now, and we're going way, way even more left than Hillary. And if Bernie is alive or whoever his protege is, it looks like that's where the youth, is going right now.
Left. They're a bunch of commies, you're saying, the kids.
Commies, socialists.
How do we stop it?
No. Hey,
I'm just terrified of the fact that 15 years from now, Bernie's going to be around. I mean, that's like a scary thing. He'll be running
I'm saying
still.
whoever his protege is.
That's an old man. He's going to be an old man.
You're wishing death on the man?
No, I'm just wishing a quiet kind of hospice kid.
Yeah.
I mean, is that all right?
It's all right. It's
just
nice.
quiet. Just quiet.
It's nice. In Vermont? Okay.